folks. Welcome to the Thursday Thought. This week's topic, a perspective twist. How often have you been asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you have a 5-year plan? Where do you want to achieve over the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? We think a lot about where we want to be, what we want to achieve, what we want to do in the future. And occasionally you might be asked, would you give any advice to your former self? What do you wish you had known when you were younger? But we rarely take the opportunity to look at what we already have achieved and what we already do know, the changes we've made in ourselves. And I think that that's a real loss, not to have that perspective on what you have achieved and all you've accomplished. So I recently went on vacation, as I know I've mentioned a few times. It was amazing. And one of the things that we talked about was, what would 2002 Julia think about 2022 Julia? I got married 20 years ago. What would that 20-year younger me think about the version of me that I am now? And it was a really inspiring, eye-opening, fantastic perspective to think about all that has changed, all that I've achieved, all that I've accomplished, all that I've done in the last 20 years. Of course, there were bumps in the road. It wasn't all smooth sailing, but there were a lot of really positive points to remember. And it was a real boost to think about that perspective. What would 2002 Julia think about 2022 Julia? And the answer was, she'd be pretty damn proud of who she has become. So I encourage you to ask yourself, what would 2002 you think about 2022 you? What have you learned, achieved, accomplished, changed, stood up for in the last 20 years? And how does that make you feel from that perspective? Have a great Thursday. I'll see you next week.